not have to beat the Cowboys. It's not a must-win game. It is, however, a must-perform game. We can't have another great first drive followed by garbage the rest of the game. And right now, the Bears are 6-24 on third and fourth down after the first drive. That's terrible. So Dallas's defense gave up 450 passing yards to 37-year-old Russell Wilson behind a shaky Giants O-line. Okay. I said this. I've been consistent. I said this all August. I said 9-8 is generous. Look at their schedule. Packers are great. Lions, Vikings could be better. 9-8 was generous. I said, I don't get caught up on that. 8-9 could end up being great because he improves. What are the things I wanted to see improvement in? What did I talk about in August? One thing, it wasn't about wins or passing yards or touchdowns. Reduction of sacks, reduction of hits. Just get rid of the ball more quickly. Yeah, the problem is that hasn't happened. Because if you look at Caleb this year, take away the opening drives where he's on script, quick release. The other 20 drives, this is horrible. 54% completion percentage and a 77 passer rating. Why? Because he's holding on to the ball for 3.28 seconds. Longest by a long shot over most of the league. Most of the league, that thing's out 2.7. 3.3 is that's a half a beat. So you look at those 20 drives, that's not, I don't want to hear about it got better. I mean, I know Rome Odunze wasn't built in a day, but they were getting better. They were making progress. They were laying bricks every day.
Okay, quite the pun there. Listen, I've talked at length about the whole scripted drives versus unscripted drives and all that stuff, and saying how, you know, in essence, what Colin is highlighting here is what I want to see, right? This is what we talked about when everyone was really excited about his preseason, first couple drives or so. And this is where the problem lies largely, but I still think there's a lot of misconceptions here. And it is interesting to me because we can't say, oh, he's great, and then we're getting garbage, because that's too extreme. That's too extreme. It's not great either, right? It's not like we're seeing great and then we're seeing great, but we're not seeing great and then we're seeing garbage. That's too extreme. And now to try to imply though that he's not showing growth, I don't think is fair. Let's just take sacks. Okay, let's just take sacks. You know, Caleb already sucked 6 times this season. It's like, okay, let's look at it. Cam Ward, 11, rookie. J.J. McCarthy, first-year starter. Rookie, 9. We will throw those guys out. And the Drake Mays, like, let's just look at the other real quarterbacks around there. Tua was at 8. Aaron Rodgers at 7. Jaden Daniels at 7. Geno Smith at 7. C.J. Stroud at 6. Kyler Murray 6. Joe Burrow 5. Lamar Jackson 5. Justin Herbert 5. Baker Mayfield 5. Like so. Caleb Williams has 6 sacks, but the vast majority of these quarterbacks are all between 3 and 6, 4 and 6. Jared Goff's at 4, Pennick at 4, Matthew Stafford at 4. Now, I never like to just look at the bottom line sack number because I really like to look at pressure to sack percentage, because of course, you know, if you have a terrible line, you're getting sacked all the live long day. Can't put that on the quarterback. And the vast majority of the time, the pressure to sack percentage is going to be pretty representative of how well a quarterback is doing with the pressure. There's a reason why we see a lot of these young quarterbacks consistently have a very high pressure to stack percentage, because they just can't get rid of the ball. They hold on to the ball. They try to make a play when they just can't. They think they can escape and they can't. And so we see that Caleb Williams' pressure to sack percentage was over 28% last year, and now it's at 20. Okay, that's a huge improvement. That's a huge improvement. He is getting sacked. He is holding onto the ball a little bit longer than you would want him to. That is very true. Undeniably true. But we don't have to pretend like there hasn't been improvement, because there has been. There has been. And when we see Patrick Mahomes getting sacked 4 times, but again, his pressure to sack percentage is 12.9. So it's just like he's dealing a lot better with the pressure, at least from a perspective of taking sacks. So it's just like, okay, so here's Caleb Williams's numbers under pressure. Um, I'm not using like bottom line numbers like touchdowns and yards because it's only 2 games, and so it's just not representative of anything. So I'm really kind of just using like completion percentage, um, a PFF rating, passer rating, etc. And so um, his offensive rating is lower from last year. That's not good. His passing PFF rating under pressure is lower. He was 49, now it's 31.8. But his running rating when under pressure is a lot higher. Was 74 last year. Now it's 86.8. His adjusted completion percentage, I just want to use adjusted completion percentage here more than anything to really try to neutralize any types of drops, especially specifically because, again, it's such a short sample size. It's only been 2 games compared to an entire season. That's now down 10%. His adjusted completion percentage last year under pressure was 64%, or 63%, excuse me, and it's now 53.8. His yards per attempt are 4.4. Last year they were 5.4. This is all under pressure. And his passer rating has dropped. It's 30.7. And last year it was 65. And so those are all things when you're just like, okay, so what's kind of happening here when he's under pressure? He's definitely now looking to use his legs way more than he did last season, or at least he's doing it at a higher percentage, and you see that a lot of times now. We've seen that a lot. Him using his legs. He scored a touchdown with his legs for the first time, which I still don't understand how that's even remotely possible. But some of the passing aspects have not quite improved, specifically under pressure in a way that you would want to see. But yet his pressure to sack percentage is getting better, and mainly because of the use of his legs. Right now, under pressure, he's scrambled 7 times this season so far. Okay. He scrambled 29 times under pressure last season. He's on pace to now nearly double that. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing. I'm not saying it's the right thing. It's interesting. It's worth pointing out that when he's under pressure now, he is trying to escape it with his legs more often than not, and certainly at a higher rate. And here's the reality. Here's Lamar Jackson. The Lamar Jackson scrambled 27 times under pressure. I mean, in just a few games. This season now, Caleb Williams is going to surpass what Lamar Jackson did in an entire season. It's like, okay, Jalen Hurts 25. Now Jane Daniels 52, also a rookie, also electric with his legs. It's not to say that scrambling is inherently wrong, but it is something that you do want. You know, you want to see the evolution of you being able to do more under pressure than just using your legs and running away. The Patrick Mahomes 19, Josh Allen 26. Like, unless you start to prove that you are truly devastating with your legs, like the Lamar Jacksons, like the Josh Allens, like the Jalen Hurts, it's like scrambling as much as you are there. It's just, it's just worth pointing out. Lamar Jackson is in his MVP year, his first MVP season. He scrambled 22 times when under pressure. And again, that's Lamar Jackson, arguably the most elusive player when the pocket's collapsing on him than anyone else. And Josh Allen, the most powerful runner when the pocket's collapsing on him, 28. And this is kind of a problem that Josh Allen had a little bit earlier on in his career, where he was scrambling a lot under pressure. That's what he was relying on. This is 31 scramblesmen under pressure, and he only played 12 games. He only played 12 games. And so that's a pretty high rate. The very next year when his game now started to evolve and he started, getting better and better, that rate, this is now over a full season, 28. Just his rate of scrambling under pressure completely plummeted. And here's the whole thing about losing, using your legs compared to your arm and all these various moments. Once you can become more balanced, then you can become more devastating. Think about how the games have evolved for Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. that in these moments, right, when you're just like, oh man, right? It's that moment when like you see the quarterback have the balls in his hand and you really don't know what's he about to do here. Is he going to let it rip? Is he going to run? Is he going to run away from people? Is he going to run through them? Like you just don't know. And the way how these guys now have really been able to evolve their games, or that it's just they constantly have the defense just trapped in that moment. They flush the quarterback out of the pocket, or the pocket collapses. And you can just see there's this moment of just like, do we just go all in on trying to just get after the quarterback, or we have to give him some space because he can just do a little toss over top of us, like it's just, or he can really let it rip down the field, like you just don't know. And because of that, it makes everything else more threatening now. We literally just saw it on Thursday with Josh Allen. The way how, because of his ability to use the legs, and then also just feels so comfortable just on the field itself, he's able to just do these little tosses, these little flick of the wrists. Like it's just so effortless of just being able to just really just kind of wait a second and be like, I'm reading the defense in real time as I'm scrambling with my legs. You know, when again, it's just the sirens are going off, and I'm just setting myself up now for like an easy 8-yard pickup, or devastating like 20-yard pickup, or a nice little toss that then gets me another 10, 15 yards. Like, and it's just mastery, honestly. It's beautiful to see. It's actually one of my favorite things to watch in football, actually. Because it's not as, mind-blowing as a 45-yard touchdown down the field or something like that, or an awesome interception, but it's just you're seeing these guys process in real time. You know that you don't always get to watch a quarterback read the defense when he's just calling hike and going through his progressions, then letting it rip. Like in that moment, things are happening very fast. Someone's literally chasing them from the front, from behind, from the left, from the right, and they're just now processing in real time. What am I doing? What am I doing here? What's the play here? I just got to see the field and my legs, feel everything behind me, feel everything to the side, and I love it. And it's great. And when you get that ability, it's just like that. That's a superpower unlocked. It's an absolute superpower unlocked. It's why if you're facing a Josh Allen, or you're facing a Patrick Mahomes, and you're an opposing fan, like once they have the ball in that space, you're like, oh my God, like you're clenched, you're contracted, because you're just like, what's about to happen, man? What's about to happen? And until Caleb Williams can start to do stuff like that, him just scrambling at such a high rate of the pressure, then it's just a quarterback overwhelmed, and the pressure is coming down on him, and he's just trying to use his legs to get away with it. Unless you have the ability to rush for 1,000 yards, that's great. But even that, we see that with Justin Fields, and unless you can truly throw the ball, unless you can also go through your progressions, unless you can also deal with the pressure and also let it rip, because there's times that pressure is coming down, and now there is someone open down the field 40 yards. Like, that's how you keep defenses honest. It's how you go for the blow. Like, there's just these other aspects of the game that need to continue to develop. And those are some of the things that you want to see. But to me, what I'm seeing, not only when you watch him play, but then even when you look at the numbers, it's very much like I always say this, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps forward, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Like, it's just this, it's not just linear. And so we do need some patience. This is also, though, not good. Like I keep saying about Caleb Williams, it's okay to acknowledge the bad, right? It's not just, no, none of this is happening. This is ridiculous. But it's also not fair from my viewpoint just to be like, this is awful. This is garbage. This is not good. This. And here's the other thing. He is going up against Hebrew flu, and under other circumstances. And to be fair, I understand why Caleb is not necessarily getting this benefit of the doubt. I do get it, but like, they should be like, I don't know, like I feel like under other circumstances, people would say, I don't know, I flu coach Caleb, he knows all his, his weaknesses, and he knows his strengths, and a good defensive coach will be able to use that against him, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's why we talk about why some, a lot of divisional games can be so tough. and competitive, because not only do the players want it, but then also the coaching staff really knows these players deeply. Mike Tomlin and Lamar Jackson and, et cetera. And so it's just like, well, what happens when it's like it was your coach that coached you is now, on the other side of the field? Like it's got to mean for something. What does it mean? I don't know 100%, especially because I do believe is a good defensive coach, specifically defensively. Nothing else besides that. And I just don't know if the Dallas Cowboys actually have the manpower to be able to be good enough right now. But it's tough, because on one side you could say, because Colin's like, oh, 37-year-old Russell Wilson was able to be great against the Dallas Cowboys, and it was like one that's already proved. It's, if we look at how he's played over the last season, like 16, 17 game sample size, we can see that game was a bit of an outlier. Number one. Number two, he is a seasoned veteran, and we know at any moment seasoned veterans, whether you're Flacco, Aaron, Russ, whatever, like, yeah, you can turn it on any moment. Doesn't mean that now everyone else needs to, like, Daniel Jones lit up the Miami Dolphins in a way that Josh Allen did not, right? Like, okay, so what is that means that Daniel Jones is actually, secretly a better quarterback than Josh Allen? Of course not. Of course not. And so, yeah, this is what I was imagining with Caleb Williams this season, is that if you don't win games, the pressure was just going to be on him. And I agree that he doesn't have to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I just want to see growth. I don't even need to see great, because it says, like, does he need a statement game on Sunday? I don't need a statement game. I don't need him to throw for 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and that's his statement. And he's ready to go, because he is learning things that he's never had to learn. He is being developed in a way that he has never had to be developed, or just never was developed. So they really are stripping this down to the bare bones and rebuilding a Caleb Williams up. And it's just a process sometimes. But yeah, I think, unfortunately for Caleb, any throw that he misses, whether because of accuracy or just not letting it rip, anytime he takes a sack, anytime he has a turnover, anytime he, throws an interception or has a fumble or scrambles and just can't get away with it, or takes a risk that he shouldn't have, whether it's an interception or not, it just gets magnified to the maximum degree. 3, and that is the burden that you have when you're the number 1 overall pick. You're considered to be a generational talent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think when we're looking at the development of quarterbacks, we all have to look at them from completely different timelines. It's just not copy, paste, and repeat for all these quarterbacks entering the league. But you do want to see progress, and I think for the most part, Caleb was criticized last year. But generally speaking, outside of really intense fandom and whatnot, I do think people did give him the benefit of the doubt a lot. Going into this season, people, for the most part, did give him the benefit of the doubt from last season going into this season. And now they're just like, okay, we gave you that benefit of the doubt. It's year 2. You're supposed to be special. You're supposed to be awesome. Let's see it. And it's just like, still think we just have to let these weeks unfold a little bit and go from there, because I've seen some things that I really like from Caleb, and I've seen some things that I'm just like, I don't like from Caleb at all. But I'm not confident enough to say, well, that shouldn't happen in year 2. Year 2, week 2, with a brand new coach coming off of a terrible coaching set. If Ben Johnson was his coach last year and now this is this year, it's a lot easier for me to gauge. I don't know how many things Caleb Williams has had to unlearn. Like, people don't really talk about this enough in coaching. So many coaches, so much of their work is working on a player and having them unlearn the things that they've learned over the years, whether it's just bad habits that they picked up, or coaches are saying they're being coached, just they've been taught the wrong thing, and that happens all the time, right? A completely made up example. Coach is saying on 1st and 10, I always want you to throw the ball. That is what you do. That is what you do. That is what you do. You always take a shot down the field, right? There's some high school coach saying that right now, who's just randomly like 1st and 10, That's the money down. That's what you got to do. You always got to push it as long and as hard as you can. If you got it, you take it. 1st and 10. That's what I want to see. And other coaches like, no, 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 no. What are you talking about? That is no, no, no. There's no formula on 1st and 10. There's no rule of thumb that that's what you do. Like, no, 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 no. Stop. And yet you have players who were taught that when they were like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and they just got a lot, you know, it just was embedded into them. And now when they finally get to a real coach, a real coaching staff, a real level, they're like, no, that was a weird thing that your coach told you in high school and even in college. That is not how this works, man. That is not how this works at all. And now it's a behavior. It's a pattern. It's a philosophy that a quarterback has had through the majority of his career that now has to be drilled out of him, right? Just a habit pattern has to be drilled out of him. That takes time in itself. And I purposely used a very dumb example because it paints the clearest picture possible. There are so many other little things that a Caleb Williams over the years is going to pick up that Ben Johnson is like, no, 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 no. We'll get back to that. No, 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 no. It's a process. It's a process. Whether it works, I don't know, man. I don't know. But it is funny to see everyone reach very firm conclusions very quickly. But we'll see. We will see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams? How do you feel about how he's been playing? What do you think he needs to show against the Dallas Cowboys? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.